Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn about the very interesting topic that is the blood and the blood vessels. You all know that blood is liquid in state, but do you know that blood is a connective tissue too? So let's learn about blood and the blood vessels. Coming with the composition of the blood, first of all, it consists of plasma, RBC, WBC and platelets. RBC stand for red blood cell, WBC stand for white blood cells. Now blood is basically red colored liquid tissue, and this red color comes due to the presence of hemoglobin in it. It helps in the transportation of oxygen, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, hormones and waste material all around the body. It also helps in defending against the diseases, and the plasma is a pale yellow or a stalk color liquid in which the RBC, WBC and platelets are dispersed. Now if you go for a centrifugation technique for the blood, you will find out that 55% of plasma is present in your blood. This 55% of plasma is having a yellow straw color liquid, and 45% of your erythrocytes or red blood cells are present. Only the less than 1% of buffy coat is present, and this buffy coat consists of your white blood cells, that is leukocytes, and platelets, that is thrombocytes. Now though they are very less in number, but they are equally important. In this slide you are watching the detailed version of the composition of blood, the detailed points of the blood, that in the whole blood, when we are talking about a whole blood, it have a plasma and a formed elements. Basically the formed elements are your white blood cells, red blood cells and the platelets. Leukocytes are your white blood cells, erythrocytes are your red blood cells, and leukocytes are further divided into granulocytes and agranulocytes. Whereas your plasma, it consists of different types of amino acids, the nitrogenous waste, electrolytes, gases, nutrients, proteins. Basically your plasma helps in the transportation of different nutrients, waste, proteins, amino acids, etc. And the proteins are of again different types like albumins, fibrinogens and globulins. Now when we are going to talk about the different types of cells present in the blood. First of all, it is red blood cells, that is RBCs, or they are also known as erythrocytes. They are basically disc shaped, and around 50 lakh red blood cells are present in per millimeter cube of blood. They are red in color due to the presence of protein pigment called hemoglobin, and this pigment binds with the oxygen molecule and transports them to the cell in the body. Now if there is no hemoglobin in the blood, if the red blood cells are less in number, then the person is said to be anemic and the supply of the oxygen is less in that body. So this hemoglobin molecule is very essential to transport the gases inside the body. But another fact that you have to remember here is that when this hemoglobin binds with carbon monoxide, it cannot detach itself from it. But yes, when it binds with carbon dioxide and oxygen, it helps in the transportation of these gases throughout the body. But with carbon monoxide, when it is binded with up, the person is unable to detach the hemoglobin molecule through the biochemical reactions going inside the body. That's why sometimes the people die in a closed, suffocated room because of the excess of carbon monoxide present in their blood. Coming with the white blood cells. White blood cells are slightly larger in size but lesser in number than RBCs. They are just 7000 WBC per cube of blood. The white blood cells, though they are lesser in number, but they are very important as they are responsible for our defense mechanism. They protect us from infections as they possess a unique ability to move on their own. They are also known as soldiers of the body, so they can pass through the blood vessels and reach the site of infection and fight against it. So they are basically your immunity boosters. So if the person is having a low immunity, that means the count of WBC is less in that person and the person is prone to different type of diseases. So normal cold, cough and cuts, they are basically taken care of. The infections are taken care by the WBCs. And when you are having different types of other diseases, with the help of certain medication, and yes, with the help of this WBC, your body is able to fight back. The immunization effect, the vaccination part that is done in the small children is basically based upon this WBC mechanism. They increase the immunity by giving the bacteria or viruses inside the body, so that WBC can work upon them and they can have a immunity busters of the body system. So they as they have a unique ability to move their own, and they can reach to the site where the infection is coming up. Now next, the topic that is related with your immunity is antigens and antibodies. Antigens are the foreign particles that enter in our body. For example, the normal pollen grains, the bacteria or the dust particles, these are the antigens, they're foreign particles that enter in our body. Sometimes certain medicines also act as antigens, whereas antibodies, these are the special proteins which are formed in response to the antigens that enter. So if some unwanted substance is entering in your body, the foreign particle entering in your body, it will be an antigen, and to cure that one, to just throw that foreign body from our body, out of our body, the special proteins are made so that our body becomes more stronger to that particular antigen, and that is the antibody. So once you have acquired a vaccine, so vaccination basically works upon the principle of antigens and antibodies. So once you are having some disease, for example like smallpox or chickenpox or measles, once in a lifetime they do happen. So once our body makes these antibodies, the special proteins, second time they does not affect us. Now coming with the platelets, though there are only 250,000 platelets per millimeter cube of blood, they are very smaller in size than RBCs, and they have various shape. They are irregular shaped cells, and they can have different multiple shapes. And if you can see the slide, the normal platelets and the activated platelets, so two types of platelets are shown. So whenever you just have a cut or something, they become activate. They are activated and they help in the clotting of blood, and once they are becoming activated because of different proteins and enzymes present in our body, they help in the clotting of the blood. Now coming with the plasma. Plasma is a clear straw color liquid portion of the blood that remains after red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets are removed from the blood. It is the single largest component of human body blood, comprising around 55%, which contains water, salts, enzymes, antibodies and other proteins. Now coming with the functions of blood. You all are aware of different functions of blood. Till now we have done different functions like transportation, exchange of gases, this removal of waste products, immunity busters and the clotting of blood. So here again their slide is showing the different functions of blood. You can go through this slide. Now the next topic of today's slide is the blood vessels. See, till we have done about the blood, and now we are going to do the blood vessels. The blood, as it is a liquid in state, so it needs special system for the transportation. It cannot flow here and there. Just like a water, if you need water to transport from one place to other place, either you will use a pipeline structure or you will use the bottles. If you are going to water your plants, you will be using a pipe, but if you want to drink, you will be using a bottle or a glass. So you need some type of container to hold that liquid. So blood vessels here have the same function. There are different types of blood vessels which basically help in the transportation of the blood from one body part to the another body part, so that the functions of the blood that we have dealt till now are easily carried out. Coming with the first one, that is the arteries. Arteries are the blood vessels of the body that carry oxygenated blood away from the heart and to the organs and the tissues of the body, except the pulmonary artery. So all the arteries carry the oxygenated blood away from the heart to all the organs and the tissue, and only the pulmonary artery is not going to carry the oxygenated blood. Pulmonary artery carries the deoxygenated blood. The aorta is the largest artery in the body that exits the left ventricle of the heart. They are high, thick-walled in nature as the pressure of the blood flow is quite high in them. So they have to be very thick-walled and they are deeply seated. Veins are the blood vessels that carries blood towards the heart. Mostly all the veins are going to carry the deoxygenated blood from tissues and the body organs or the cells back to the heart, except the pulmonary and the umbilical veins. Both of them carry the oxygenated blood to the heart. The valves are present in them to prevent the backflow of the blood, as the pressure of the blood flow is negligible. Now let's learn about the difference between the arteries and veins. Basically, veins moves towards the heart, arteries moves away from the heart. Veins collect blood from the body organs, arteries distribute blood to the body organs. Blood pressure in the vein is very low, whereas the blood pressure in the arteries is quite high. Valves are present in veins, valves are absent in arteries. All veins carry deoxygenated blood except pulmonary vein. All arteries carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. Veins start in the blood capillaries, arteries end in the blood capillaries. They can be seen subcutaneously. That means when you see your skin, you can see the veins. But arteries are deeply seated. You cannot see the arteries from the skin. They collapse when there is no blood in it, or when the hand or some injury is there, when it's cut. They do not collapse when there is no blood. Veins are further divided into venules. Arteries are divided into arterioles. Veins are flattened or clamped with the thin walls. Arteries are round and thick-walled. Veins have very large lumen. Arteries have small lumen. Veins are bluish in color. Arteries are reddish in color. Veins show sluggish movement of blood, whereas arteries show a spurty movement of blood, and it gives the pulse rate too. If venous wall is injured, blood comes out, collects in a pool around a small area. But if arterial wall is injured, the blood comes out like a fountain in a large area all around the arteries. So coming with the next type of blood vessel which is present in our bodies is the capillaries. They are very tiny blood vessels, so small that a single red blood cell can barely fit through it. They help to connect the arteries and veins, in addition to facilitate the exchange of certain elements between your body and tissues, blood and tissues. For example, your arteries and veins are basically having a thick structure. Your cells are very tiny. The arteries and veins cannot enter in the blood cells. The cells are very minute structures. They are microscopic structures. So capillaries are also very tiny, so that they can enter in each and every single cell of your body, and they help in the transportation of or exchange of different elements between the blood and the tissues. The exchange of oxygen, nutrients and the waste between the blood and tissue also happens in the capillaries. See, arteries divide into arterioles, arterioles further divide into capillaries, and there the exchange takes place. These capillaries then change into the venules, and then they became in the vein. So capillaries is basically a branch of network, very tiny blood vessels which help in the exchange of gases. Though very minute in size, very small in size, you cannot see them easily, but they are very important. So the exchange of oxygen, nutrients and waste between the blood and tissues which happens in capillary, it occurs with the help of two processes. First is the passive diffusion, second is pinocytosis. Passive diffusion is basically the movement of a substance from a higher concentration to the area of a lower concentration, whereas pinocytosis refers to which when the body's cell actively takes in a small molecule such as fats and protein. Yani ki for example, your body cell is going to just absorb the nutrients it needs like fats, proteins, etc. So that is your pinocytosis. So what have we learned in this slide is that blood is a circulating tissue as well as a connective tissue that transport nutrients, chemicals, hormones, antibodies, enzymes to the place of the requirement in a body. Blood also helps in the transportation of gases. Whole blood contains 55% of plasma and 45% of blood cells. Blood cells of three types: RBCs, WBCs and platelets. RBCs help in the transportation of various components, WBC help in providing immunity, and platelets help in the clotting of the blood. The blood vessels are of three types: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Thank you. Keep learning, stay safe, stay happy. We'll meet again with another video.